Good. And here is Spider-Man, like your name, but an M.
Yeah, like my name.
Yeah. And what are we here to do today?
Oh, fuck. Hold on. Let me disconnect the Bluetooth from my phone. My mom just tried calling me, and it disconnects my audio for my computer, so I can't hear you talk when it does that.
Cool.
So let me just turn that off. Welcome to You're Not the Jellicle Choice, a bad podcast, and we talk about bad movies.
Sure do.
So sometimes we talk about movies that we think are going to be bad, but actually we like them. And like Wicked. And also, maybe this one will. I have bad news. I kind of had fun with this one.
Yeah, that's why I took an edible. What movie is it, Anne?
God.
Say it out loud.
We watched Madam Web, which is on the list of worst movies ever. It got an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Dakota Johnson won a Razzie for Worst Actress for it.
Which we'll have to talk about.
We will have to talk about, Will, why are we watching this movie? Why did we do this?
Okay.
Because this was you. This was your fault.
Listen, you're the one who thinks the movie is good. You can't just turn that back on me. Okay, so here's the thing. So the reason that we're doing this is there is something within me that is obsessed with Dakota Johnson. I'm obsessed with this woman. I have been obsessed with this woman for years. She is hands down my favorite Nepo baby. Okay, Willow Smith is the only Nepo baby I think is like good enough for the success that she has. But that's different from being a favorite. Dakota Johnson's my favorite Nepo baby because she's everything that a Nepo baby should be to me.
So I had no idea who the fuck Dakota Johnson was until this past week when you kept sending me Instagram reels of her. And I'm like, she's really funny, but who is this woman?
No,
I don't understand.
Kidding? Are you kidding? Oh my God.
I looked her up. I was like, I don't think I've seen. No, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think I've seen anything that her mom's been in. Like, I don't think her mom is like there.
I have seen something that her mom has been in because her mom was in Twin Peaks as like kind of a side.
I haven't watched Twin Peaks. I was looking through. I don't think I've seen anything that she's in.
Well, and her dad is also a cinematographer. He's like done quite a lot more than the mother has. He was a cinematographer on Twin Peaks. And other things. I don't think that you would like Twin Peaks. But I need to tell you. I
haven't watched it because it's not for me. But yeah, okay, yeah.
I need to tell you about Dakota Johnson.
Okay, tell me please about her.
Holy shit. Okay. So the first time I heard of Dakota Johnson was when she was in 50 Shades, right? And I was like, this sucks. She's extremely beautiful, but like she's probably not very good. And then I heard that the entire time she was working on those movies, she was shit-faced drunk, and you can tell. And she hates them. She hates them. She and her co-star do not like each other. Like, they did not like the experience. It was not good. So first off, I was like, that's hilarious.
I feel like that's the correct response to being in a 50 Shades movie. Like that, all the actors on it hated those movies because it's
like Twilight.
It's based on a Twilight fan fiction, and everyone who was in Twilight also hated being there. Exactly. So it feels correct.
And I need you to know that this is the tip of the iceberg. Okay. So how would you describe... don't worry about that. I won't make you do that. I won't put you on the spot like that. I would describe Dakota Johnson's demeanor as...
Okay.
Aloof?
Yeah.
Blunt?
Sure.
Sarcastic?
Uh-huh.
She's an asshole, and she's very funny, and she just does not give a shit about how she is... coming across. At least that is how she's coming across to me. Who's to say if like
if she
any
really
of that is
cares,
authentic.
right.
I don't care.
Right. But she
I'm
doesn't
not-
have to because she's Dakota Johnson.
Exactly. And that's, to me, exactly what a Nepo baby should be, is that they should use their powers of privilege to just be kind of an asshole who doesn't give a shit. So I want to be clear, I'm obsessed with Dakota Johnson, the public character that the actress is conveying herself as. The human being herself, I don't give a shit. They are separate things in my head. So, okay, so the first thing is that she was shit-faced drunk in all the 50 Shades movies, right?
So would I. I would also be, yeah.
Absolutely. We do know that she got whiplash.
Yes. Yeah.
While making 50 Shades, which is extremely funny. So the next thing that I hear about Dakota Johnson is so two things kind of happened at the same time. The important one that got more eyes back on Dakota Johnson is she arguably is one of the main reasons that everybody finally came for Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
Do you know this story?
No, I don't know anything about this. I'm telling you, I did not know. I didn't go to 50 Shades of Grey, and I had no idea who the fuck Dakota Johnson was until like a week and a half ago when you started sending me reels. So,
oh yeah, and I should say, like, I've never seen, I don't think any of her movies. She was in The Social Network, which I did see, and I did not like because I fucking hate David Fincher. You need to watch this clip in real time.
Okay.
Because it's absolutely fucking iconic. So Ellen DeGeneres was seen as like this super beloved, like sweetling, sweet, right? And then Dakota, but we had kind of heard in the background, like, I don't know if you had been aware of this, but like there were a bunch of service workers who would say, hey, Ellen DeGeneres came into my restaurant and got me fired because I had chipped nail polish. Like,
no,
crazy shit.
Okay, wait. So let's backtrack really quick.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't realize I was queer until I was in college, which is a lot later than most people we know. So I didn't engage with any like queer media or anything. So I didn't even know, like, I didn't know anything really about Ellen until later.
Did you never watch her talk show?
No, I don't watch fucking talk shows. Who do you think I am?
Oh, okay, that's fair. I watched a lot of talk shows growing up, and I watched a lot of Ellen DeGeneres because she was like the only talk show that was engaging with the internet at all.
Okay, yeah.
I also had a friend who was on her show because he's fucking cool. He is the one. He's one of the two dudes in the Shark Boy story.
Okay, the one who's not Shark Boy.
Right, one of the two who isn't Shark Boy. Yeah. So Ellen, I never watched Ellen DeGeneres's like sitcom TV show. I only watched her talk show. The TV show was just a bit before my time. And I liked the talk show quite a lot. And then it was just like, I was like not 11 anymore. And I was like, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot. So one of the things one of her things is that she's always portrayed herself as like the single nicest, kindest, most affable, sweetest person in Hollywood. Like, she makes herself seem like lesbian Tom Hanks, right? But then there were all these stories coming out about like her being really, really horrible to service workers. But they're service workers talking on Reddit. Nobody is going to pay attention to them, right? So another thing is that she would have celebrities on, and like, I don't remember who it was, but there were some celebrities where like her whole bit is that every time they would come on, she would like use phobias against them to scare the shit out of them to get like a big reaction that the crowd would laugh at.
No.
Yeah. And so she kind of does this, like, she'll pick fights with her guests thinking that it's like cute and funny, right? So then Dakota Johnson comes on. And again, I don't know how much of this is authentic. I don't know how much of this is stage. But because of this, everyone else started getting their voices heard about Ellen DeGeneres. So I'm going to send this to you. I'm sending it to you in our Discord chat. And I would like you to press play, and I would like you to react to it, please.
Okay. All right, I'm loading the video.
Great.
And I am unmuting my YouTube.
Great. Good.
Wait, sorry, her birthday's October 4th? I'm October 3rd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She made the same "you didn't invite me" joke 2 years in a row.
Uh-huh.
Ask everybody. You were out of town. Oh my God. Okay, I watched it.
Okay. So her saying, actually, Ellen, that's not true. That became like a huge moment. That's like an iconic moment of her just being like, I don't have to put up with your bullshit, you asshole. You suck, actually.
The fact that all the producers were like, yeah, no, you couldn't make it because you were in Malibu. Like, because it was in Malibu and you couldn't go. Like, the fact that the producers all knew, like, yeah, no, you were invited.
Yeah.
To this party.
Because the producers, she was also extremely abusive to her entire staff.
I'm sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
And like you can tell. So when that happened, I already thought Dakota Johnson was like funny. Like there was something about like the fact that she was just shit-faced drunk on 50 Shades the whole time. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then she did this. And I was like, yeah, I'm obsessed with you, actually. And then later on, she did an Architectural Digest video, one of these like home tours, right? You've seen these videos?
Yeah. Oh, is this the one with the fucking limes?
Yeah. So in her first Architectural Digest video, she's in the kitchen and there's just like a big bowl of limes. And she's like, yeah, and this is where I keep my limes. I just really love them. I love limes. So I always have tons in my kitchen. And
I display them like this in my kitchen. Yeah.
Right. And it was weird. Like it was a strange moment. A few years later, she comes out and she's like, oh, yeah, no, we had it. Like this was a video that they were shooting at Architectural Digest. So we had a stylist come in and like put things in my house. And they put this big bowl of limes. And I don't like limes. I'm allergic to limes. So I just thought it was funny.
I was reading comments on a video about that, and everyone's like, "What do you mean allergic to limes?" And everyone's like, "So she lied again?" Because she's definitely not.
My mom is allergic to limes.
Okay,
yeah,
it just felt like such a weird thing for her to say.
I mean, it might be a lie again. I would love that for her, frankly.
It feels like an overreaction for her to be like, yeah, I don't know why they put limes there. I'm actually allergic to limes because just like the vibes she gives off.
No, this one did seem honest. But I love that she's a lying liar who lies for fun. This is also one of the things that I love about Robert Pattinson, where they just like say things, you know, and you're like, that's not true, but like they stick to it. So I'm obsessed with Dakota Johnson, and currently she is on a press tour for The Materialists, which is coming out as we're recording this upcoming Friday. I will be seeing it with one of my partners. It is by Celine Song, who did Past Lives, which is a stunning, beautiful film. So Dakota Johnson's been on this press tour, and it's been fucking insane.
That movie came out yesterday. You know that, right? Like it's not coming out next week. It's out now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. It says released June 13th on my AMC website right now.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm seeing it next week. So she was on some interview, I think it was for Vogue, with Pedro Pascal, and she's just like, they're like making each other crack up the entire time. It's the most unserious interview I've ever seen, other than maybe Do You Wear Wigs? Like, at one point, the question he has to ask her, provided by Vogue, is like, what was your childhood nickname? And she says it's Cokie. And he says, what? She's like, Cokie, like the bird, which is Cokie. And he's like, oh, Coque, cock. And she goes, yeah, my nickname as a little girl was Cock, you fucking idiot. And he's just like busting up laughing. The whole interview is as insane as that. Then she goes on Amy Poehler's Good Hang podcast / video podcast. And
brought
on
her puppy she just adopted.
She brings on her puppy. Which Amy Poehler was like, I don't really like pets, and I especially don't like pets at work. And then she kept telling her new puppy, who's named Tokyo, which is a great name for a dog. She keeps telling Tokyo to piss in the studio. And then,
if you watch the videos, the dog is standing on the table next to the microphone. So she's like, piss, Tokyo, right here on the table. Just do it.
And then at some point in the interview, I don't remember what the context was for this at all. And I listened to the whole thing. Listeners may know that I have a deep affinity for the 1975 whose frontman.
Yeah.
Whose frontman is Matty Healy, who is a terrible person, a misogynist, a racist. He is a bad person. I no longer give them money. Mostly, sometimes I buy a record. Listen, I have disease. This is actually not something that I can pin on any of the diseases. This is just a moral failing on my part. I'll be frank about that. He's a bad person. But the 1975 is very important to me. And in this interview, she tells Amy Poehler that she had a dream in which Matty Healy of the 1975 was, I believe, going around and killing people. And whenever the cops would come looking for him, he would hide by turning into a stalk of asparagus. And already that's very good. We also find out that in the dream he was in bed with asparagus Angelina Jolie. So long story short, I haven't become less obsessed with Dakota Johnson.
I mean, I've become obsessed with her over this past week and a half, seeing all this stuff about her. So I think all of this actually made us more obsessed.
Hands down.
This did anything to help. This actually made our problem worse.
Much. So then I said to Anne, let's watch Madame Web.
Yeah.
And here we are, Anne.
And here we are. We have watched the movie. We did watch it.
We watched it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So.
Uh-huh.
So listen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Will.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we approach movies from very different like points of view.
Yeah.
You go in, you are a very big critic of things. You're watching for structure. I'm here to have a good time.
Uh-huh.
And I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. I did forget the first half of the movie was real slow and a lot of nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then everything happens all at once in the second half.
It really does. It really does.
And I was just along for the ride at that point, and I was having a good time. I had fun. And I forgot how bad the beginning was. I I went back, I pulled up the movie again to rewatch the beginning of it because I was like, hold on. This movie can't be that bad. And then I watched the beginning. I was like, oh no, wait.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And the second half, I will say, is also really bad. It's maybe just as bad. You're wrong. You're wrong. This movie is awful. I'm really glad that you had a good time. I was miserable, except I will say there were a few jokes that landed for me, and I loved watching Dakota Johnson because I'm obsessed with her. I hated this. I hated it. I will say, and this is maybe like a controversial opinion. I say maybe. I know it's definitely a controversial opinion. I don't think it was like that much worse than most other Marvel films I've seen.
No, that's okay. So I've seen all the Marvel movies. I'm like, actually, I think I've seen worse ones. Like this one really, comparatively to the other Marvel movies, I didn't think it was that bad. That's why I was like, sorry, wait, this is ranked as like one of the worst films of all time, and she won a Razzie for worst actress. I was like, I've seen worse acting in a Marvel movie, certainly.
Oh, absolutely. Like I will say, I think that, again, perhaps a controversial opinion here. I would rather watch this than ever have to watch Thor Ragnarok again in my life. I fucking hate that movie. I think it is dog shit. Like,
which
and
one
I know
is
that everybody loves that one.
That's the third one? The second one?
Dude, I don't know. It's the one that was directed by Taika Waititi.
The third one.
Tessa Thompson's in there.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett is in there for some reason, and Jeff Goldblum is there. I hate that film. I would rather watch Madam Web than watch that film again, undeniably. And I know that's like a big favorite for a lot of people, but I genuinely don't think that Madam Web is markedly that much worse than other Marvel movies. And I know how this sounds coming out of my blue hair and pronouns mouth. I genuinely find it misogynistic that this is on the list of worst movies of all time and Morbius is not. I genuinely think that's misogynistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And there's so many really bad Marvel movies. There's so many bad ones.
Like all of them.
The all of them. Yeah, no, like
they're not all bad. Black Panther was good.
Black Panther was good. I like the Tom Holland Spider-Mans because I like Tom Holland.
I do like those too. I didn't like the final one at all, but I really liked.
Yeah,
I liked the first one quite a lot. Spider-Verse doesn't count. Spider-Verse obviously that's a masterpiece. Obviously,
yeah, it's animated, so it doesn't get counted.
Yeah. Okay,
but like there's like Blade and like other bullshit.
Blade
Marvel
doesn't
movie.
count. Blade was before the MCU and it fucking rules. Blade doesn't count.
Okay. But like there's really bad Marvel movies and we can this one doesn't deserve to be on that list, I think, of worst films of all time.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far.
Well,
I would say that other movies also deserve it.
We can't put every Marvel movie on the list. Well,
we can put Morbius. We can put Morbius.
I guess. Yeah, I think Morbius should be on there. Morbius became a meme. It's so bad.
Yeah. So did Madam Web.
Madam Web is just the movie everyone forgot. Like I did, like I feel like they took it down probably early. Like you can't stream it on Netflix unless you have the paid ads version. It's not on Disney Plus.
It's
like
not on Disney Plus.
No, I would watch it on fucking Disney Plus. Yeah, because it's Sony. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's talk about the plot.
Oh, the plot of this movie?
Yeah.
The plot? Yeah. Well, okay. I will give this movie a point for it had a plot.
It did.
If I'm comparing to Cats,
Yeah,
Since it's his Jellicle choice. You know what?
Sure.
It had a plot.
I would
That's
rather
true.
watch this than Cats. I would rather watch
See?
this
Exactly. That's why I'm
8
like
times in a row.
I missed the title card in the beginning of the movie where they say what year it was, and I took like 5 very quick notes while I was watching this movie because I was having a good time, so I was like paying attention to the movie and not taking notes. But it's like, when does this movie take place? And that did not kick in until they started talking about the new release song Toxic by Britney Spears. And I went, wait, when does this movie take place?
Oh, I've got notes about that.
What's happening?
Yeah, so the first chunk of the movie is like 1973, I want to say.
Okay, yeah.
And you would never know that based on anything.
No!
That's why
I had no idea what
title
was
card.
happening. Because they're in the middle of the jungle in like the Peru or something, in Peru, and they're like, there's nothing that dates it except for the title card.
Yes. There's no thought to how anybody is styled at any point.
It's picture somebody who explores in a jungle, and your first stereotype image of somebody who goes exploring in a jungle, that's what they're wearing.
That's what they're wearing. So, mama pregnant, looking for spiders in Peru jungle for health benefits. She won't stop talking about the fucking peptides in their venom. She's with some dude, and he's like, I'm ominous. And he opens a big red umbrella for her. Is it raining? No.
You know, I was wondering what was going on with the umbrella. Yeah.
I really think it's because in an early shot, we have a spider web that she's looking at, and then he opens the big umbrella in the background, and so in the foreground you have the spider web.
So you can see the spider web clearly. Yeah, okay.
And because it's the red background, it looks
Spider-Man.
like a Spider-Man costume.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so they were trying to like, hey, this is a Spider-Man movie, guys. It's kind of about Spider-Man.
It would have been cool if it had been raining, though.
Yeah, if it made sense to have an umbrella, or like he was like, use this umbrella and walk with it in front of you so you don't walk into any webs and get spider in your mouth or something like that. Like, you know, like that even would have made sense. You don't even have to do the raining. You could just say like, hey.
Anything. He's just like, here you go. You need this. And she's like, oh, thank you. I need this. Sure. Then she starts talking about these fucking peptides, and she says that the peptides supercharge people, and that there's a mythical spider people called Las Arañas, which means
is just the spiders.
The spiders.
There's a group of mythical spider people called the Spiders.
The Spiders.
Like, okay, great.
Can you imagine if we just called vampires the Bats? Like, and pretty immediately something becomes clear to me. The dude, Umbrella Man, who's ominous,
yeah, is
immediately and clearly a dreadful actor. And I mean, like, dreadful.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point at which you could even start to think this is a good performance. It is immediately terrible, and it doesn't get better. It also doesn't get worse. He is just really bad consistently the whole time. The dialogue, the script is bad. The script is very bad. The dialogue's insane. But this dude is helping nothing. He is so stiff. He speaks like no human has ever spoken before.
No, that is
ever
what I very much noticed. I was like, what is going on here? What is happening?
Terrible. There's also very bad ADR. Like, this is the first scene, right? Do you have any big notes from this first scene?
No, I really like was so I was so disinterested in what was happening here because none of the acting was good and there was nothing interesting happening that I really just zoned out for it. And I just I forgot what happened in this portion. I was like, this isn't important, so I don't need to pay attention to it.
And you were right. Really, it's not. It's so boring. It's both extremely bad and so boring.
Right, and they replay every piece of it later in the movie. I didn't have to watch it because they show it to me again later. So yes. I was like, oh, that did happen. You're right.
Yeah, also notable, this movie is about Dakota Johnson's character. It starts the day that she's born for no reason. There was no reason to start the movie here because, like you said, we get all these scenes and flashbacks later. So just not a competent start to a film. And then she finds the spider and this dude is like, that's my spider, actually. I'm running away with the spider and you are dying. And she's like, no, I'm dying. And then the spider people come and they're like, we can't let you die. We have to push you into this pool. And she's like, oh, my baby. And they're like, yeah, this is a dire situation. Go into this pool. And then there's like a CGI baby. And I said that it looks like an SNL digital short. Out of nowhere, it goes from Steadicam to like handheld camera with lots of zooms for no reason. And then there's a CGI baby. And that's Madam Web. That's Dakota Johnson.
Did you miss the part where the spider people have one of the spiders bite the mom before she dies? They tried to use that to save her life. No, I forgot because
I didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. I only, I realized that when they talked about it later in the movie, and I was like, oh, okay. I just noticed she got shot and then she was having a baby, but apparently also somewhere in the middle of that, they have one of their magic spiders bite her. That's what they were trying to save her with that. It didn't work, but it did save her baby, apparently.
There is a non-zero chance that just was not shown in that opening sequence, and it was supposed to be a reveal later.
It's part of the plot details in like the first paragraph. Like that's the whole thing, is that they were trying to save her with it. It's I mean, I'll have to watch it a third time, I guess.
Sure.
But apparently they did that. Yeah.
All right. And then
cut to 30 years later,
which is 2003.
2003, yeah. This is where I zoned back in because I was like, oh, it's the guy from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what? Why is Ben Parks and Rec here? I don't think that's supposed to be a thing.
Because they also call him Ben, and I was like, wait, I know Parks and is. Are we just in Parks and Rec right now? What's happening?
Absolutely baffling. And they are exes who work together.
Wait. Hold on. I did not realize this. I have the Wikipedia open for Madam Web just to have the plot details in front of me.
Okay.
And I clicked on Ben Parker, who's him, and I was like,
Park.
Why am I on the Uncle Ben Wikipedia page?
No!
He's supposed to be fucking Uncle Ben.
No, he's not. No, he is
Parker.
Not. Oh my god, so the baby that she has is Peter Parker?
No, that's cousin. That's his. It's not his daughter. It's not his wife. It's his sister or sister-in-law or something.
Right. And what do you think an uncle is?
I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. Oh my god. What is happening? I hate this movie now, actually. I've come back around to it. I actually hate this movie now. The realization that is supposed to be Uncle Ben ruined the movie for me. Mary Parker.
No. Okay, so we meet Ben Wyatt, and he's exes with Dakota Johnson because this movie isn't convoluted enough, I guess. And he's like, I met a girl. And she's like, ha, good for you. And she's like a real, okay. I think she's actually pretty good in this movie. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't think, I think the sassy, aloof was right. Like, that, it felt right.
Yeah, I think that she was a fucking hilarious character. I think that she played her completely right. I think that she was cast very well because she's playing herself if she were bitten by a magic spider. And I thought she was very funny. Like, there's this one thing in this scene with Ben Wyatt where he says something and she just goes, ha 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 ha, you're an asshole. And it was really funny. There are some moments later on where I think her performance is questionable, but I don't think that she deserved the Razzie. I think that the evil man deserved the Razzie, undeniably. I guess they probably break it down by gender, but he deserved it. So they're EMTs, is that right?
Yeah, they're paramedics.
Okay. And they talk.
Step up from EMTs.
Sure. That makes sense. At one point, Dakota Johnson does say the line, "You're not going to room temp on my watch." And she does her best with the script, but the script is the problem here. The dialogue is so bad. What
was the other movie we watched where the script was really bad?
You are gonna have to narrow it down. Was it Cats? Was it Cats 2019, would you say?
It wasn't Cats 2019. It was something. Oh, no. You know what? I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking about how the script for Dragon Age Veilguard is bad. And the directing is bad. And it's not the actors that are bad. It's the script and the directing.
Yes. I think all of the actors in this genuinely did their best with the script, and I thought they did pretty decently well. There are some moments where no, except for that one fucking dude. He is so bad. It's just him. It's just him. So they do paramedic stuff. I don't know. Who fucking cares? The editing is insane. And then Sydney Sweeney shows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would have had no idea who that was until you said Sydney Sweeney. I was like, wait, she was in this movie? And then
yeah.
And then I realized that it's because they dressed her terribly and put her in glasses. And I was like,
and a terrible wig.
A really bad wig. It was bad.
This casting choice is ill. Whoever made this casting choice is not well. Sydney Sweeney, they have her playing a demure, scared, prudish little like church girl teenager. No, that's not correct. She's Sydney Sweeney. That's not it. And like the whole time I kept looking and being like, guys, that's Sydney Sweeney. You can't do this. So that was alarming to see her. And
fun fact about that. Apparently she agreed to be in the movie so that Sony would greenlight Anyone But You, another movie that she was in. And that one grossed $120 million more than Madam Web. So
good for her.
She was like, I'll be in this movie if you let me be in this other one. And make this other one. And they were like, all right, fine.
All right. I mean, I want to say here, I don't think that Sydney Sweeney is a bad actor. I actually think she's a very good actor. It's just a bizarre casting decision. If anybody ever wants to see Sydney Sweeney doing really fucking well in a very serious role, go watch Reality, which is about Reality Winner, who was a whistleblower during, I believe, the Iraq War. She's very good in it. But there was simply nothing she could do with this one. So then, I don't know. So Sydney Sweeney sees Dakota Johnson because Dakota Johnson saved her stepmom or some shit. I don't care. Then Dakota Johnson goes home, and in classic superhero who's a loner and angsty, tropiness, she has a stray cat that she gives milk. She doesn't name the cat. It's just cat. And she says to the cat, us strays need to stick together.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Then, okay. So I don't talk about the plot very much for the next little while. I say in my notes, love a box of dead mom stuff. And then I say,
yeah.
the editing is crazy. And then I say, the pacing is crazy. And then I say, spider womb water car.
Spider womb water car. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any notes about what happens between us trees need to stick together and spider womb water car?
No, I'm trying to find. Are you okay? What happened on there? Oh, okay. So this was when she was at the paramedics were like dealing with some kind of emergency, and she drove the ambulance off a bridge. Is that what
It
happened?
falls. She's in it and it falls after she gets somebody out of it with Ben Wyatt.
Yeah. And then she falls into the water and almost drowns. And I guess they use the time when she's under the water to be like, remember when you were a baby and there was spider stuff going on? Yeah.
Remember
and they like do that as
Simba.
her like, remember who you are, Simba. And this is when she
Exactly.
has her like spider power awakening moment. Spider womb water car.
Spider womb water car. So the ambulance is in the water, and there's like all these like spider web kind of like neural connections looking kinds of things in the water, which sounds sick as hell, right? It looks awful. It looks just terrible.
In the script, the like notes for the video editors, they were like, yeah, there's gonna be like spider webs in the water and it's gonna look sick as hell. And then they got into the editing and they were like, how the fuck are we supposed to do that and make it look sick as hell? Oh my god.
Because it's also a womb. Like, we need to talk about it. Also looks like a womb. She looks like a fetus floating around in her mother's womb. Because this film has no concept of subtlety, but it's also not quite camp. It's very strange. And then, so she has all these like flashing visions that are very confusing. Like, one is that there's like blood on her hands. One is that there's a big blue balloon that pops. It's all very stupid. She gets pulled back out of the water and brought back to life by Ben Wyatt. Then she acts really strangely because events keep recurring for her. And she thinks that he's being an asshole and just like saying the same things to her. And she's acting very strange. And then he says to her, "Are you okay? What happened down there?" Well, she died. She died, Ben.
She was underwater for 3 minutes and she's not okay.
Why would somebody ask that? That's insane.
What happened down there? I don't know. Water got in my lungs and my heart stopped. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
That's with with the same energy of they called me cock as a baby.
Yes.
You fucking idiot.
You fucking idiot. Yes. So then there's a scene at an opera, and it's with this terrible actor man. He says,
I'm gonna
the
be
line,
real with you right now.
Yeah.
I did not know there was a scene with an opera in this movie. I read that in your notes and I was like, what opera? What are you talking about?
Okay. So here's how this scene goes. At some point, this man says, "Where's my spider? They took my spider," which is very funny.
He says that a lot.
Yeah. So he goes to an opera and there's a pretty lady there and he's hitting on the pretty lady, and then him and the pretty lady go back to his apartment, and there's a shot where there's a big terrarium with a spider in it and you can see them through it and they're like making out and being horny, and she says, "Nice apartment," and then there's a cut and then it's clear that they've fucked, and then then the conversation goes, The lady, so what's your deal? The man, his entire backstory and all of his evil plans.
He just wanted to trauma dump on someone, okay?
Well, you say that, because then the scene gets worse. So I was like, is he just trauma dumping all of his evil plans on a one-night stand? What? Why? And she's like, this is normal and it's sexual. And then he kills her. He poisons.
He does just super kill her. Yeah, I was awake for that.
So I would suggest, I don't think that they needed to hook up. No. He really hooked up with her knowing that he was gonna murder her. What? And like, I understand he's evil, right? Like, we're setting up that he's evil. But like, I, as an audience member, did not need all of that. The thing about the pacing in this movie is that everything that's important happens in like a 14th of a second, and everything that's not important takes 5 uninterrupted minutes every time. So this whole opera scene went so fucking long, and all we got out of it was, I think, he got some secrets out of a lady. That's like he got her. She was like a security personnel. He got access to like security cameras and shit. That's why he had to kill her to take her access to stuff. He didn't have to fuck her to do that, but he did. Something I just remembered looking at my notes. Not only did he fuck her, but in that cut, it is very clear that he is waking up from having slept next to her after fucking her.
Yeah, he waited.
My man.
He was not in a rush here.
I don't think that falling asleep next to your enemy who could, I don't know, look around the room for 3 minutes and see all the spider shit and maybe figure something out because she's in your apartment. Like,
wow, this guy really likes
a great plan.
This guy really likes spiders. That's crazy. And in a world where Spider-Man doesn't exist and in fact has not been born yet for another, I don't know, movie week. Apparently, to be obsessed with spiders is, I don't know, is interesting fact about someone. Now it's just like, oh, you probably like Spider-Man, but Spider-Man didn't exist yet.
No, he didn't. Well, he did. He was just a fetus.
Not born. Yeah, he
existed like halfway.
Do you think Uncle Ben is like, holy shit, dude, you do you think, oh my god, hey, do you think these other spider people who see the future know about Uncle Ben dying and Spider-Man? Do you think they know? Do you think she feels really bad that she didn't save Uncle Ben?
No, what I think happened is she knew that he was gonna die. So she fucks him one last time and then tells him all of her secrets.
Oh my god.
Okay. So then... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so then Dakota Johnson has to go to a baby shower. And she's like, I don't want to fucking go to this. And she's right.
I was like, fucking mood, girl. I also don't want to be there and play the games. She's like, there's games? Fuck. Yeah. I don't want to be here.
She's so right. And at this stupid fucking baby shower, there's big blue balloons like in her future vision. And they're all around. And at one point, they're like, all these women are like, my mom is amazing and she is my mother and I love her. She's my mom. And then they're like, Dakota Johnson, do you love your mother who's alive? And she's
like, oh yeah, no, I don't have any memories of my mom. They're like, oh, but you have to have something. She's like, yeah, no, actually my mom died while she was giving birth to me. And she like makes eye contact with Spider-Man's mom,
who is played by Surprise bitch, gif me.
Yeah. What's her name? Emma Roberts.
Sure. I will never buy that she is old enough to be pregnant. She's like 14 in my head.
Yeah, she's 14 forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, yeah, my mom actually died giving birth to me, and like makes eye contact with her. And she's like, but don't worry, dying when you're giving birth is actually really rare. And my mom chose to be in the middle of like the rainforest where there's no hospitals, so you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, it's awesome. Genuinely,
it was really good.
Kind of great. Yeah. kind of good, this one. Then there's then she has like a moment of her quote unquote future vision. And we need to talk about this because that is not what's happening.
No.
That's not what that power is. It's not future vision. It's she experiences the present and something bad happens and then she jumps back in time.
And she experiences the present again.
Right. So there's not really like a future, unless we're counting the future as like progressing from the present at a rate of 1 second per second.
I think this is a case of execution being bad. Like, I think it is supposed to be that she is seeing a future thing, not that it's happening and she's going back in time. I think she's supposed to be seeing the future, but they don't make it clear on the screen that that is happening at any point when anyone is seeing the future.
I would agree with you, but
okay.
Later on in the movie, they're like, what does your abilities do? And she says, I can see the future. Kind of. So, like, the movie seems to be aware that is not what's occurring.
No, she says it that she sees the future kind of because she can't really control it. Like, she doesn't know, like, she can't predict the future. She just gets, like, weird visions every once in a while.
Okay. I'll take that.
That's how she explains it, because later on she does get the ability to, like, control it, and then she can see whatever she wants.
We can't jump. If we start talking about that scene, I'll never shut up because
I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Let's
go back to where we were. They're at the baby shower and the balloons are popping.
Yeah. So she's like, wow, that's crazy. And then there's like another emergency and one of her work friends dies and she's like sobbing about it because she saw it and she couldn't save him because he wouldn't listen to her. It's really not her fault. She tries everything.
You know what? Okay, wait. It is her fault, though. Because if she hadn't delayed him by talking to him before he got into the ambulance, he would have been past that intersection by the time the truck came and hit that ambulance.
Oh, that's true. Well,
I was like screaming at that point. I was like, girl, that's your fault. If you hadn't slowed him down, he would have been gone already.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So she's crying over his body and there's like really intense sentimental music going on. And one, I could not tell you this character's name. I have no idea. I did not give a shit about this man. Two, she is fake crying and there's no tears.
No.
I don't blame her. I wouldn't have brought out the tears for this movie.
They didn't have the budget for like those fake teardrops that you put in your eye. They just were like, no, we can't spend money on that. We got Parks and Rec Ben over here. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't spend money on this.
So then we're back to this terrible actor man who says these lines about this nightmare that he has with these three women who are like kicking his ass, right? He says, they will try to destroy me. I came from nothing, more than nothing. I will not give up, which sounds like it was written by AI. It wasn't, but it sure does sound like it.
Every time he talked, I was like, did they dub over his audio? Is he even is his mouth moving? Is he looking at this camera?
There's so much ADR.
Here?
And the ADR is terrible.
It's bad. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. It is like phenomenally bad. So he has these nightmares about these 3 women who are spiders, kicking his ass, I suppose. And
whoever his like henchwoman is like, dude, they're just teenagers. Do you have to kill them now? And he's like, yeah, but they're gonna kill me one day. So if I take them out now, then they won't kill me later.
she also acts very naturalistically, like she acts like a very normal person. So every time she's only in scenes with him,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's
very normal, and he's
Yeah.
very overacting it. So it makes him seem even more unhinged and out of place.
Yes. I don't have notes for plot for a while. I just basically say that, like, Dakota Johnson, she's not doing a bad job. It's just that the script is terrible. The next note that I have is about the dead pigeon window. Do you have notes about anything between there?
No.
All right. So she sees a dead pigeon outside of her window of her apartment in New York. And she's like, oh, but it turns out this was the future asterisk. And there's this cut where she opens the window and the body of the pigeon is no longer there because she has jumped back. And that cut was so close to being clever and being well done, but they time it so bad that, like, conceptually, it's very interesting. And the execution just, it's not it. It's
this
not
whole
done right.
movie. This whole movie is like conceptually okay, I get it. Execution, no, didn't nail it there.
Yeah, no. So she's like slowly realizing, like, maybe something is happening. But we're still not there yet. Then she's on the subway.
Yeah, this scene, I think this scene is where I messaged you and I was like, you need to watch this movie because it is trippy even without an edible.
Yeah, because I did watch it sober.
Yeah. This was the point of the movie where I was like, what, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Because they do go through like 7 layers of visions, not visions, wait, it's a vision, wait, it's not a vision during this subway car scene. And I was so lost and I was like, I'm really glad I'm kind of sober, except that was probably about the point where I was like halfway through my drink. And it I was like, this is, oh no, what is happening? There's so much going on.
Yeah,
except there's nothing trippy, happening.
I say incompetent.
Well, yeah.
Sucked. So there's a lot that goes on in this scene. There is like 7 layers of bullshit. But I wanna talk about 2 specific moments.
Okay.
One, there's a dude on this train who says out loud to just the whole train car, New York City is a whole new level of crazy these days. It's New York in 2003. No, I'm sorry. He's not saying
Yeah, we're
that.
past the craziest shit in New York City.
Right.
By 2003. That was just for you, Will.
Okay, and we have to get through this movie. We've been in here for an hour. Now, granted, 30 minutes of that was just dedicated to talking about Dakota Johnson, but I don't have any regrets. So then another man comes on board. This train car is like empty. I'm sorry, it's not the subway. It is an actual train because she's going to somewhere. I don't care. And then this man comes on board.
I think she's going to Jersey because that does look like an NJ Transit train.
Yes. So this man comes on board and sits directly next to her and then says, "Is this train going to Poughkeepsie?" And she says, "No." And then he leaves. Why would he
definitely does not say Poughkeepsie.
What does he say?
It's not that, though.
Are you sure?
I'm almost 100% positive that it was not that.
Okay, well, you'll have to watch the movie again and tell me.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah, so he sits next to her, directly next to her, which is a fucking creepy thing to do. And no attention is called to that. And then a bunch of shit happens, and I say, how is this so chaotic and so boring? And do you have any notes about what happens on this train?
I told you I took like 5 notes. I have a lot of
Like,
thoughts about
total?
what happened. Yeah, I didn't
Oh.
take notes. I was watching the movie, Will. I was having a good time.
Okay. Well, my next note is that during this train scene, it's very clear that Dakota Johnson is like barely keeping it in. She is almost laughing.
Yeah.
Really
I had seen clips of this scene before watching this movie. Like they popped up on like TikTok or something.
I'm sure.
And I had no idea what it was from or what was happening. So, because out of context, there is nothing to tell you what this movie is.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
watched just that scene, you'd be like, what is happening?
I think that I would see Dakota Johnson and immediately know her oeuvre well enough.
Well, you would know it was her, but you wouldn't know like what movie she was in because there's nothing in this movie that tells you the time period because
No, because
NJ
they
Transit
all
trains
dress.
sure look like they did 30 years ago, so they haven't changed. Everyone dresses kind of ambiguously.
Yeah, there is zero thought to the time period except that we hear Toxic by Britney Spears, which we will get to. The only other relevant needle drop is like a song from the 80s. Like,
right, if this was 2003, okay, all of these teenagers would be wearing a t-shirt with a tank top camisole over it that went down about mid-thigh, and they would all be wearing like flared jeans.
Like the old style flared jeans.
Yeah, like the old style flared jeans, and I don't know,
Big
probably
belt.
have like butterfly hair clips in.
Yeah, that was not the case. They didn't commit to anything in this movie. So some shit happens on the train, and basically she winds up with the 3 child versions of the adults that keep trying to kill the bad actor in his dreams.
Yeah.
Then they get apprehended by the cops, and the girls are like, this adult woman is trying to kidnap us. And so the cops are like, that's bad. Then some shit happens, and shit keeps happening, and they see the guy, the bad actor, Spider, walking on the ceiling.
Dressed in a Spider-Man costume. Like very much in a Spider-Man costume.
Yes, nobody else sees him. So Dakota Johnson is like, we need to leave because he is trying to kill you 3. So she goes outside and she steals a taxi. And she has that taxi until she steals another vehicle. She is just blatantly driving this taxi with its license plate just like around.
No, she knocks the plates off.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
She does knock the plates off.
Okay, so she's driving a plateless cab around?
Yeah, New York City's all kinds of crazy these days, Will.
We have to talk about how he figured out who these teenage girls are.
Yeah.
So there is a conversation he has with his hench lady, and he's like, we have amazing new technology these days. Now, I need to emphasize this. This movie takes place famously in 2003.
The amazing new technology is just that they have cameras everywhere now.
No, it's not. It's that.
It's not?
No. It's the way that he identifies these girls now is somehow they take the images of them as adult women in costumes from his dreams somehow.
Wait, what?
And then de-age them to find what they look like now.
I missed that entirely. How did they get them out of his brain? What?
There's
What do
amazing
you
new technology
mean?
in 2000.
That doesn't exist. No, okay. I could believe if the new technology was that we have the internet really good now, so we can hack into all of the cameras throughout New York City and the tri-state area and find
No, my man.
these.
That's
No,
not
it was that he did like police sketches of these children from his visions and then aged them down.
They are not.
What?
They are
The
not
adults
police
from his
sketches.
vision.
They are not sketches. They are photographs. They are perfect photographs, as though they're like driver's license pictures, face on, for the 3 adult women in costumes from his dream. And from that,
yeah,
you need to watch this movie again, Anne.
I need to watch this.
It's not good, Anne. It never gets good. I'm in laughter pain, and the edible just hit, so I'm fucking scared. Okay, so, oh my god, so she's driving them to somewhere, I guess New Jersey, in this cab that she stole. She drives them to the forest, and they're like, what are we gonna eat? So at that point, I was like, I'm sorry, is the plan just that they stay in the forest forever? Like, indefinitely? Like, so she feeds them some old jerky, I suppose. At one point, she's like, okay, all of you keep talking, and it's making me crazy. So anybody who wants to get out of this car, who doesn't want to come with us, get out right now. And one of the girls does, and then she's like, wait, no, you can't, actually, sorry. Which would have been funny if it wasn't, again, such a fucking waste of my time. So they get to the woods, and they're sitting in the woods, and they're talking in the woods, and nobody likes each other, and they're all talking. And then at some point, Sydney Sweeney is like, are you psychic? What's happening? And Dakota Johnson is like, yes, kind of. And then they all realize that they recognize her. Now is the time that they realize that they all recognize her.
I mean, they were kidnapped by her. Like, I know she says she isn't kidnapping them. She definitely is kidnapping them.
Okay. If you were kidnapped and the person did not have like a mask on, would you not be observing their face and their features and their body extremely closely so that if you survive,
Okay, if somebody just took me, first of all, it's 2003, Will. Come on. They don't know all the stranger danger stuff yet.
That happened in the 80s. That was part of the Satanic Panic, Anne.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
I know.
But listen, they were just almost murdered by Spider Guy, and this is a stressful situation, and they're 17 or 15 or however old these children are.
Sure.
And I think it wasn't their first priority to be like, hey, wait a minute. Actually, wait, I think I do know you. Because
that's fair.
That's fair. You're also in New York City. There are so many people. Be like,
okay, that's
why
true.
would I?
There's a lot of people in there.
There's a lot of people in there, and New York City is all kinds of crazy these days.
Okay. I have to do this. I'm gonna die. So then she leaves them in the forest.
She does. She does just.
And then she goes back to her apartment and starts narrating all of her actions out loud to the air, which is awesome. She does say quietly to herself, spider people, las arañas. And I loved that. There is a very funny moment that was intentionally funny, and it got me. She's reading about how they had the ability to like climb on shit like a Spider-Man, and so she tries it, and that shit doesn't happen, and she just like slides down the wall and just kind of stays crumpled there.
She does just kind of like try to crawl up the wall, which
it was pretty fucking funny.
It's very comparable to like the Tobey Maguire, like go web go moment, like where he's trying to get his webs to come out of his arm
Yeah.
in the original Spider-Man. And like, thank you. We did need like a spider person trying to use their powers for the first time.
Yeah.
Moment.
And I think that she did it well.
She did. She did.
Then we cut back to these girls who again have been left alone in the forest. They're all having conflict for stupid reasons that gives us like a reason for exposition. At one point, I will say there was a very funny moment where they're talking about one girl who's rich, and they're like, "I bet you have meals made by Martha Stewart." And Sydney Sweeney goes, "Oh, so sad about Martha Stewart." And that was very funny. That got me. And again, her delivery was very funny. Then they leave. Decide to leave. And notably, they had made a fire there, and they just leave the fire. This does not become plot relevant, but it did make me insane.
No, Smokey the Bear definitely did exist in 2003.
Yes.
Yeah.
They keep talking about how they're hangry, which is not a word that existed in 2003.
Fact check on you. First use of hangry was in 1918. Fucking idiot.
Get out of town. Really?
Yeah.
I fully thought that it originated with those obnoxious Snickers ads.
No.
That's on me.
No.
All right, movie. You can have that one. You can have that one. So then they just leave and they walk to a diner. They won't stop talking about cherry pie.
Did make me want cherry pie. From a diner cherries, specifically.
So alas.
I don't like cherries. I do like cherry pie filling, and I will buy a cherry pie and just eat the filling out of it. Which is a fucked up thing to do, I understand. However.
Yeah. You know, I can't really fault you because I greatly prefer like a cobbler or a crumble to a pie, which is basically the same thing if you added like blobs of sugar, like blobs of basically a cookie.
I want the like crumbly stuff. I don't like a pie crust. I don't like the texture of pie crust.
That's fair.
So
I have had some very, very good pies. But those are the only times I do like pie crust. Otherwise, I think it's just kind of there. Anyway.
Okay, so they're at a diner in Churchill, New Jersey, which is not a real town, by the way. They made that one up. Because I thought about it and I was like, where is Churchill, New Jersey? Why have I never heard of that before? And I'm Googling it and I'm like, what is happening? And I like Googled Churchill, New Jersey, Madam Web. And it's like, Churchill, New Jersey is one of the 2 fictional towns that they made up for the Spider-Man universe. And I'm like, okay, great. They could have just picked Cherry Hill, New Jersey, except they were just talking about cherry pie. Like that's a real town. They could have done that.
But they didn't. So they're in this diner and they immediately forget that they're in peril.
Right.
Because Sydney Sweeney is looking at a table filled with boys and she's like,
yeah.
And then one of the other girls is like, let's go talk to them. And she's like, no, I'm scared. And I've never talked to a boy. I'm Sydney Sweeney of Euphoria. And then they go over there and we get like some time shenanigans because Dakota Johnson is coming to the diner because she knows something bad is going to happen. Bad actor man is coming to the diner because he's looking for these girls to kill them. But these girls... Okay, so there's a few things here. One, there is a man with a newspaper, and the newspaper is like, 3 girls who look like this were abducted 4 hours ago. It doesn't say 4 hours ago, but it was earlier that same day. And it has pictures of them. That is not how the newspaper works.
It's not how the newspaper works, no.
Not even a little. And then Toxic by Britney Spears comes on, and they start dancing on the table, and there is not a single employee from this diner telling them to get down.
That's just how Jersey diners are. Will, you don't know. That's just how it be here, okay? Sometimes Jersey diners are lawless lands. We just let stuff just happens there. And this is the point of the movie where I did realize when in time it was, because Toxic comes on the radio and they're like, yeah, we got this new hit.
Oh, no.
Blah.
I have the quote
Oh, you have
verbatim
the quote?
because
Okay.
it was spectacular. The DJ,
Okay.
the DJ says, the DJ says, this track is going to be huge. Are you in the zone? This is Britney Spears.
Yeah. That's when my brain clued into wait, when is this movie? When is this movie? Because I didn't think anything of it earlier in the movie when they were all in the taxi and the three girls are in the back seat and the one girl has a phone and the other one takes it and throws it out the window and she goes, "Hey, my phone." And one of the other girls goes, "You have a phone?"
Yeah. Yep.
And I didn't think, I was like, yeah, they're teenagers who aren't allowed to have cell phones. That was the brain moment I was in. And then when this went, it like, I like had a Madam Web flashback moment where I was suddenly back in the moment. And I was like, oh my God, it's because it's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And suddenly a lot more of the movie made sense because I was into 2024 when
Right.
I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah. Yep. So Dakota Johnson gets there and she becomes stern and is like, "Get off the table, you fucking idiots." Also, I do want to say that these hot boys in 2003 would not be singing to Britney Spears. They would be calling each other slurs and then beating the shit out of each other to death.
Yeah.
It was 2003. So at this point when she's being stern, my note says, "Jesus Christ, is this movie about her realizing she wants to be a mom? Time to kill me." And I was right. So then
I do have a note from earlier, and I think
Yes.
it's earlier in the movie. When is this? Oh, at some point, I do have a note written down where I said, "Guess these are your kids now, Cassie." And I think it was when they were in the woods. I think I put it then before any of the like her actually like raising these kids came to be.
Yes. Yes, that's early for that. That's early.
I was like, yeah, these are just your kids now. They're yours. As like a joke.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a joke at that point.
Yeah. Nope. I think I was in denial. So, okay. So then, bad actor guy comes in
Yeah.
to be bad.
Yeah.
And for quite a long time in this scene, Toxic is still playing. And also, there is so Toxic is diegetic. It's like within the fiction, right? Then there is also non-diegetic, ominous music on top of Toxic that was not composed to go with Toxic at all. So we just have two competing songs for the whole scene. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? That's insane. I've watched. Okay, so when you posted the list of all of the like list of worst films, right?
Yeah.
I had seen, how many had you seen, Anne?
I think like 7 or 8 of them.
Okay, I saw 21. I've seen 21 of those films, and not once have I seen any of them do something like that. Like, just put the two conflicting songs on top of each other. That's crazy. How did they let this happen?
How did they let this movie happen?
Yes. So, okay, so the bad guy is there, and then he and Dakota Johnson, like, slip into a space-time bubble.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You know?
And one of my favorite things about this scene is that we have him giving an ominous, he's like having a conversation with her, but then we also have like almost like his thoughts in the background, like floating around and like repeating, which means he says things like, Do you think you could beat me with your mind? And then immediately after, there is a dire whisper of the power of the spider. So he's like, you'll be on my side about these girls and want to kill them. And she's like, I don't think I will. And that's kind of it. Then I guess she leaves, and then she's teaching the girls how to do CPR. And this movie is convinced that CPR is way more effective than it is. Then she decides that she has to, they say that she has to go to Peru. So she leaves the girls with Parks and Rec Ben, I guess. And at this point, this is when I was like, his name is Ben here too. And at no point did I think Uncle Ben. None.
Yeah, no. Why would you, right? Because in the baby shower scene, they were playing the name game. And if they had said at any point that she was naming her baby Peter?
Right.
That would have done it.
I think I still would not have. I still wouldn't have.
He does make a joke earlier in the movie, misquoting the with great power comes great responsibility. Because I caught that and I was like, haha, that's kind of like the quote that Uncle Ben says. And at no point did I connect it to him being Uncle Ben.
I was like, oh, they're doing like a cute Spider-Man movie. Like every movie has to have this line kind of thing. But no, straight up Uncle Ben. So, oh God. So she goes to Peru, and like the scenes that came before this that were really plot relevant, again, happened in like maybe a second and a half. And then we have so much time of her aimlessly walking around the jungle silently.
Wait, hold on. We need to go back to the fact that, okay, now this is 2003. She lives in New York City.
Yes.
2003, she just randomly, there's a flight to Peru that she was able to just get on last minute.
No.
She was able to just get a last minute flight to Peru out of New York City in 2003. No way. She's a paramedic. She doesn't have money. She lives in New York City. She's also wanted by the cops for kidnapping. Stole a cab and
and she's still in it. She like arrives to the airport in the stolen cab.
Her stolen plateless cab to the airport to get a flight in 2003. The age of the TSA getting more power in New York City to fly last minute to Peru. What?
And instead of getting any explanation for how any of that happens, we get so much time of her silently walking through the jungle.
I would have enjoyed so much more of this movie if we got the drama of her having to book a plane ticket and explain to the security at the airport why she had to go to Peru.
Yes, but we don't get that. And then, seemingly, she goes to Peru and just starts walking around.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
No plan.
Yeah, just wander around the country Peru.
And just go find something that you're not sure what you're looking for in jungle, like, or in the rainforest. Like, what? So, luckily, then Las Arañas just show up.
Right. Yeah.
They look crazy. The editing is crazy.
They use their spidey sense to know that she was there. So
yeah, their costumes look terrible.
They look so bad.
They look so bad. So then they're like, "Oh, Dakota Johnson, we've been waiting for you." And she's like, "How?" And they're like, "Come with us." And she's like, "Sure, strangers." And they take her to the same pool where they took the mom when she was born. And Dakota Johnson is like, "Why am I here?" And then the spider dude, it just like pushes her He like pushes her soul out of her into the pool, which is crazy. And then we are like 2/3 through the movie at this point, right?
Yeah. I'm like, there's no way. Wait, hold on. How are they going to fit the rest of this movie in the rest of this movie?
Yes, because it's only now that we introduce that the reason Dakota Johnson hates kids is and is weird about her mom is because she thinks her mom hated her.
Right.
We get this reveal 2/3 through the movie. We get the character's whole issue.
Like, she knows her mom died in childbirth. She thinks her mom hated her because she didn't care that she was like 8-9 months pregnant when she went to Peru to hunt spiders down. That's why she thinks her mom hates her, because she didn't care that she was pregnant when she went to Peru.
Yeah, which is stupid and doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
So stupid.
Makes no sense.
And of course, we find out that the reason that she was in Peru, because she's having all these flashbacks in the pool womb, and she's seeing what her mom was doing, and the mom's talking to a doctor, and the doctor is like, "Your baby has a neuromuscular disorder," and she's like, "I won't accept a diagnosis of being powerless, and neither will my daughter." And Dakota Johnson goes, "But I don't have a neuromuscular disorder." First off, that line is just something about it is just so funny to me. Like, that is not how anybody talks. 2, yeah, she went looking for a cure for something stupid. Like, are you not watching the movie that you're in? So obviously, this is why the spider ring happened. And then, in this scene, she starts talking to her mom, who responds.
Yeah.
And then they hug. No. And this is when Dakota Johnson's performance is undeniably the worst. The scene is terrible. It makes no sense.
She's given an undeniably bad scene to be in. I think she was given nothing, so she gave nothing in return.
That's fair.
This scene, hugging her mom in a flashback, and her mom what? And I think she looked at that and she went, "I don't care enough. I simply don't care."
I hope that is the case. I hope that that's it. So I don't know. So then this helps or something. I guess it's that now Dakota Johnson accepts that she can actually see the future or whatever. So then we cut back to the evil guy so that he can be like, we have to kill these children, because I guess we forgot that that's his motivation. And he says, "Every day my appointment with death gets closer," to which I said, "Yeah, that's how being alive works." We do that every day. Everyone who's ever been alive does that every day.
Yeah. You're no different than literally everybody else on the planet, dude.
Yeah. So then, some stuff happens, and somehow they all converge. And at some point, she leaves behind her stolen cab to steal an actively needed ambulance.
Well, okay, so okay, let me explain what happened in this scene to you, because I remember this scene. Okay, so Parks and Rec's guy Ben is watching the girls. They're also staying with surprise bitch gift meme girl, who is pregnant with Peter Parker. So she goes into labor early. Everyone panics and then is surprisingly chill about it. And he calls an ambulance. He calls the ambulance, and then they're like, she's like, "I can't wait." So they get in the car and decide to drive to the hospital. So Dakota Johnson shows up at the house because they weren't supposed to leave because they're in danger from the spider guy.
Right. Okay.
so she shows up and she's like, oh, nobody's home. Weird. What do you mean nobody's home? And then the ambulance pulls up and starts knocking on the door, but nobody's home because they left already. So she just takes their
Right.
ambulance. But she
Right.
does, I mean,
She just
technically-
steal a fucking ambulance.
she steals the ambulance. No, but she does work for them.
And
She is a paramedic with the
and
New York Fire Department. She is technically allowed to drive that ambulance.
she's allowed to drive it probably while on shift.
Yeah, I would say she's
not
probably
allowed to
definitely
steal
not-
it.
she's definitely not allowed to drive it through a building at a spider guy into an intersection.
She's also definitely not supposed to just use it like a car. Like, people are gonna need that.
She needed it desperately to save lives.
So then there's a chase scene. I don't care about it. The spider guy, the evil spider guy, is about to get the girls, and then Dakota Johnson explodes through a giant Calvin Klein billboard in the ambulance. Oh God, it hurts.
Oh God. Listen, this movie's not good. It is so entertaining.
I was so bored.
I was having such a good time. I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's go. Let's be obnoxious.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then she picks them up in the ambulance, and they're in the
Yeah.
ambulance, and then she gets them to use the AED on the top of the ambulance to shock him
Yeah.
through the
Mhm.
ambulance.
Because that's how metal and AEDs work, certainly.
Uh-huh. And then my note says, this movie just blows. And then they're on top of a Pepsi factory because there keeps being Pepsi product placement in this, which I have to think is because Coke is a sponsor of Marvel because of Disney.
In the Disney world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
but
they
in,
took
in
up the
Sony
Sony.
land, they have to have Pepsi. They can't drink Coke.
So they're in this Pepsi factory for some reason, and then there's
Which
a
is not-
helicopter
which is-
there.
The place from the beginning of the movie where they were at that scene of the accident when what's his name died, and she was very traumatized about it because the building wasn't safe and it
Right.
was gonna explode. And that was
Right.
the callback to it.
Yeah, why is
Mhm.
there a helicopter there then?
She called the helicopter while she was in the ambulance. She put in like a, hey, we need a
okay.
evac with this specific code at this address, and gave the address of the Pepsi factory.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then they're on top of the Pepsi factory. The helicopter is there. There is a huge explosion directly after which the helicopter, through like an intercom, says, it's not safe to land. You'll have to get higher. Yeah, there was an explosion, man. It's literally
The building is actively exploding. Obviously, we can't land.
And then she's having this conflict with the evil spider guy. He says, you can't protect them, which is just so like evil villain 101. And then my note says in all caps, oh my God, her mommy feelings made her a spirit ghost. What hello? What hello? What hello? So how would you describe this scene? Would you describe it as her mommy feelings made her a spirit ghost?
Yeah, I guess yeah, her mommy feelings did make her a spirit ghost. She unlocked her secret powers through mommy feelings so that she could be in multiple places at once and save her new 3 daughters,
Yep.
apparently. Mhm.
Yep. She just kind of splinters into 3 things. And she picks them up, and as she picks them up, she's like, hello, I love you. Kiss on the forehead. You're okay, my daughter. And then he gets pissed off about that and he like slaps her or some shit, and then she like drops them and everything is bad and scary and whatever. And then she says to him, now that she like understands her mommy powers, she says, "The girls were never your future. I was." What does that mean? The girls are also definitely there in the future. Like, what does that mean? You can't just keep saying things.
The girls weren't gonna kill him. They were never the ones who were gonna kill him. It was her all along. He manifested this future by trying to kill the girls because she's the only one that understands her powers enough to change the future will. Didn't you understand this movie at all?
No. Straight up did not. I was lost.
The spider people say to her at some point, like, you're the only one who can change the future.
I literally thought that they were being like metaphorical and like encouraging.
No, they were being literal. Spider Guy hasn't unlocked his mommy feelings, so he doesn't have the full potential of his powers. Only she does, and she's the only one because she was born with the powers because her mommy got bit by a spider before she was born. So she was born with spider powers, so she's the only one who can change the future with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So yeah. So him trying to kill the girls was actually manifesting a future where they all become spider people, because that's how they got introduced to Cassandra. And if he never did anything about it, then they never would have met her, and this never would have happened.
Hold up. Her name is Cassandra.
Yeah, did you not know that, Cassie?
No.
Okay.
So Cassandra, like, I can tell the future, but everybody doesn't trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a superhero thing. That's fine, actually. I'll let them have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he just gets crushed.
Yeah, he just dies.
Yeah, he just dies. He just dies.
I was like, wow,
conveniently.
Movie over. Good job, everybody. We did it. Except no.
There's
more.
Not
over.
So then she's back and she gets flopped into the water womb again. And one thing that I thought was very funny is that there's like signs falling around her because the building is exploded, and it's just a big S in front of her, like for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they get her and they do CPR and she comes back to life and she's blind now and her eyes immediately look different.
Mm-hmm. She got hit in the face with a firework.
Yeah. I don't know why there were fireworks in this Pepsi factory.
They put yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Why were there fireworks in the Pepsi factory?
I don't think Pepsi makes those.
Why was it a Pepsi factory? I didn't realize it was a Pepsi factory until you started talking about it, and I was like, huh, it did say Pepsi on the top. That,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were talking about the fireworks and the building being unstable, and I was like, well, Pepsi wouldn't have an unstable factory. That doesn't seem like a very Pepsi thing to do.
That's not the Pepsi I know.
That seems very irresponsible of Pepsi. They wouldn't do that in New York. Absolutely not.
We have to finish this fucking movie. We're so close. So
I don't want to leave it.
So then we skip to the future where Dakota Johnson looks like an insane supervillain.
It's in 2003.
Wait, it's still in 2003?
It can't be too much further along because they're all still like talking about school and shit.
Oh my god, you're right. Oh my god, so she just starts dressing insanely for no reason.
She has a weird Professor X-Men chair. Yeah, it's like in 2003?
Paralyzed. Yeah. No. And she is wearing sunglasses, which makes sense, but they are like
they're bad.
Crazy looking. Crazy. Oh my god. So then Then, oh my God. Okay, this is before. This is in the hospital that this happens.
Oh.
She's in the hospital. When she wakes up, the girls are there, and a nurse comes in only to say, is everyone here immediate family? She does nothing else. And then Dakota Johnson says, yes, they're all mine. And it's so scary.
Because she's got this, like, eye shield on, and it's like
so crazy.
It's scary.
And then in the scene where she's looks like a supervillain, but I think we're supposed to think that she's a hero, she says, she does like some, like, bless you before somebody sneezes. And Sydney Sweeney goes, how did you know? Shut the fuck up, movie. I fucking hate you. And then out of nowhere, Dakota Johnson starts narrating, and she's like, my girls are girls, and they're daughters, and I'm their mother, and they can do anything. Girl power. And that's the end of the movie.
I just had a terrible thought.
Yes.
Spider-Mom.
Spider egg sack.
Spider egg sack.
Spider egg sack. Hot chocolate bomb.
That's hot chocolate bomb. We should have I'm gonna go have hot chocolate after this. We should go have hot chocolate.
It's too hot.
I don't care. I want hot chocolate.
I care. I want cold chocolate.
Chalky milk.
Are we? I think we need to stop. I think we need to stop talking.
So anyway, this movie, I didn't hate it.
Watch it again. Watch it again, Anne. Watch it sober. Watch it all the way sober. Watch it again.
I'm not gonna hate it again. I'm still not gonna hate it, Will. I've watched worse movies. I went to Marvel. I watched a lot of Marvel movies.
Yeah. Okay.
I've seen bad ones, and this one was like mid. It was fine.
It really was not as bad as I was expecting. It really was not good. But it really was not as bad as I was expecting. I wouldn't do it again. I am rating it 1.5 stars on Letterboxd. But that is a lot more than other ratings I've given. Anne?
Mm-hmm.
What if...
Uh-oh.
I just really am on this Dakota Johnson kick.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, what if...
Uh-huh.
50 Shades?
Oh, don't make me watch 50 Shades. Don't make me do it, Will.
Come on.
Are they on the list of worst films? Are any of them on the list?
They are to me.
There's so many movies on this list that...
Okay, but the other ones are like The Insanely Racist Master of Disguise, The Insanely Transphobic and Homophobic Jack and Jill. Like, maybe let's watch 50 Shades instead.
The Last Airbender.
Don't make me do it again. Please don't make me do it again. I already did it. I don't want to ever do it again.
Well, I think we gotta, though. Do we start from most recent and work our way back to the oldest ones?
I guess. Are you sure you don't want to just watch 50 Shades?
I really don't want to watch 50 Shades of Grey. I didn't even read the books. I avoided all that. Please don't make me. I used to be really obsessed with Twilight, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to think about that anymore.
I don't want to go back to Avatar. Oh, boy.
All right, listen, when we get to Avatar, I will watch a 50 Shades of Grey. How about that?
Yeah, okay.
Can we meet in the middle? Compromise there?
I don't think that's meeting in the middle. I think that's meeting at the lowest part twice.
When are you seeing Materialists?
This upcoming Friday.
Friday. Okay. I'm seeing when I have time to see it this upcoming week because I also want to see it.
Yeah.
I do want to see it. Because I really like Pedro Pascal and I like Chris Evans also. So
Yeah.
I gotta.
As a heads up, it's definitely not going to be like a fun, silly comedy like it's being advertised as.
I read the synopsis of it because I don't care about spoilers, so I already know how the movie go.
Yeah, Past Lives is like one of the most beautiful and excruciating movies I've ever seen. Absolutely phenomenal. But as soon as I saw that she was the one who made this and that it's by A24, I was like, oh, this is gonna wreck people. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Okay. I'm stopping this recording.
Thank you.